Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the art area. It's drastically different since the last time you saw it. I have a different chair. This is my lovely spinny chair. I've had it for about a year and a half. It's not spinning too well, there we go. Aside from the fact it tips over quite easily, I love it. It's the best chair I've ever had. And it's pink and it has cats. When I do my day job, I cover up the chair with a old nightie. There we go. If I use a dark dressing gown, it looks like I've got a Dementor behind me, but that's what I do. So then I look serious. I mean business. I'm gonna be honest, this is a weird video for me today. I'm trying to vlog, I'm trying to get into the swing of it, but also it's not just a case of sitting here and vlogging. I'm genuinely fighting within my own brain what is Master Rebecca and what is Unmasked Rebecca. And this is an entire topic that I have been increasingly struggling with the last few years. Why am I out of breath? This is the first time in 3 years I've used these lights. It's been such a long time since I've had this setup. It feels like I'm stepping back in time, which is then making it easier for me to slip into my masked self. It does feel kind of strange inviting you back into this space. I think the last time I had the camera here, my life was drastically different. So it's 2022, but also the relationship I had with my camera was different. To some extent you could argue it's not just the camera itself, it's where the footage goes and who sees the footage. In the last year and a half I've drastically changed with the way in which I engage with the internet. Someone I know from my YouTube past, so to speak, I was talking with briefly recently, and we both understood how dark and upsetting and dangerous the internet can be, and how when you step away from it you can forget. It's not that you're oblivious, but it's easy to forget just everything you've been through and who is out there. There's been moments for me in the last few years where I have forgotten, or I've thought to myself, oh, I can't have been that bad. And then I've gone through my hard drives and I've seen all the stuff I've documented or had to document, you know, like the folder I've got up there that we submitted to the police about 10 years ago. And you just think to yourself, yeah, the internet's a bad place. Caution. I also feel quite sad today because I am well. Why am I sad? Because it's a rare thing for me to feel like this. And so then I feel guilty for documenting myself in this form because it's not my normal. That's hard to explain. Like, obviously you want to put your best self out there, but this is not me 100% of the time. The way you're seeing me presently is so rare. This version of myself is me, certainly, but it's not an accurate representation of who I am, but it never has been. It's not a case of it used to be. I think I definitely had my YouTube self, my masked self, but inside my brain I feel bad. Am I allowed to be this version of myself? Simple things like the fact I am in a dress. I love this dress. Love it so much. But it's the first time I've worn it in a year. The last time I wore this was my birthday, my 30th birthday last year. And truthfully, I am half in pyjamas because I'm cold. And they're comfy. Now I've put my leg up, I feel more myself. This is me. I don't know when it started, but it's definitely gained momentum this year. It feels like I'm going through a breakup with my pre-diagnosed and post-diagnosed self. I mean, makeup's one of them. I don't really wear makeup nowadays. I love how I look with makeup, but this isn't normal for me. I think you could debate whether or not it ever was, you know. 10 years ago I was filming multiple videos in the middle of the night with a full face of makeup, which I wasn't wearing during the day. But going back to being well, I do spend so much of my life like this. And when that is your normal, when you're like this, it confuses everybody because it's like you're pretending. It's unsettling for both myself, but I think people looking in. In my life, I'm trying to move forwards with the understanding of how I'm neurodivergent and how that's impacting everything. And it's not a case of just starting from scratch because I am in the life I am living because of the life that I've already lived. No matter how much I want, I can't start again and I can't just reinvent this new human because this human is already 30 years old. I've been diagnosed as autistic, but my ADHD journey is still going, and inside my brain I thought post-diagnosis I would start to be able to process and move on and maybe start from scratch in a way, but actually I am finding all the holes that can be explained by ADHD. So for me, I still don't feel like I can move on because I don't have all the pieces of the puzzle or permission to have all these pieces put together to then breathe. Something I've said for a few years now is this frustration that I feel as though I'm preparing for a life. I'm not living. I was mocked for it in my 20s, but I have truly felt like Quasimodo in the tower watching everybody else living. And I have felt stuck, and I still feel stuck. I would like to get to a point where I feel like I'm living. The following has frustrated me increasingly this year, and that is the revelation within my own brain that I'm never going to reach a point when I am ready to have a life, in the sense start dating or do things I want to do, because my past self was under the assumption that she had to get better first. Whereas now I'm understanding that yes, you can continue to be a better human with the knowledge and experiences you have, etc. But in terms of your neurodivergence, it's not going anywhere. So you can process what you're going through perhaps for a while, but you're not going to stop being neurodivergent. And if you wait for the time when you are the perfect version of yourself and everything is perfect, it's never going to happen. You're living regardless of whether or not you're processing what you've dealt with and trying to look after yourself for the future. You're still living. And I found that hard. I feel like my life is slipping by. I feel like I've already lost so much of my life, or spent so much of my life, let's just say, to summarise, not well. I feel like I am struggling through at the moment, and I'm on my own, but in a complicated way. I feel like I've always been on my own, but presently things are a bit different in the sense that I know that there's other people out there that actually accept me for being like them, because that hasn't always been the case. But I understand more of who I am, even if there doesn't really feel like there's any support for me. But right now things aren't as bad as they have been. There is so much in my life to be grateful for. If you compare me to 3 years ago, this was me during what I would call my last extreme autistic burnout period. I've been burned out solidly for the last 15 years, but there are certainly worse periods than others, and that was the most recent, severest period. Right now I have a job that I'm grateful for every single day, a job that I can be unwell in, I guess you could say, a job that understands that I'm autistic. I have both parents that are alive. My mum and my dad have both beaten cancer. I have a brother and a sister whom I have a good relationship with, which hasn't always been the case because I've been an undiagnosed autistic person. I'm grateful there. I'm grateful that I own my home. I'm in a situation currently where I'm not really doing anything with my life, but what I am doing is overpaying the mortgage. That in itself is a massive topic that I'm scared to verbalise, because in my own mind I can't believe I'm doing it. It also taps into other things that I'm dealing with, and that is the fear that my neurodivergence will at some point stop me working again, because it already has done in my history. It's not just a case of not working, it's a case of not being able to find work because I can't function in the way that I need to find the jobs, to apply to the jobs, to actually get through the interview process and to merge into the workplace. I am so lucky right now. So one of the reasons why I'm overworking is because I am frightened that I'm not going to be able to look after myself down the line in the way that I have previously been in a situation of. So it's like a form of self-care. I don't stop, I just keep going and going and going. I don't take breaks, I just go and go and go. Some would say I'm overdoing it, but if you were in my position, you'd take advantage of what you've got. The only difference was in the past, my difficulties were magnified because I was not supported by the NHS. So when you're talking to the job centre about how you think you're autistic and the NHS hasn't even given you the time of day on that, there's no support or understanding whatsoever. So maybe going ahead there might be more support, I don't know. I'm just so nervous. I'm nervous about my parents dying and not being able to function without them, because behind the scenes my mum in particular has supported me on a level that nobody is aware of. That's just some other stuff, I suppose. Changing topic entirely, as for vlogging and content, and this is a form of income, certainly, like I declare it every year, but this for me is not a job. part of me doesn't want it to be either, because I have learned across my lifetime that anything that I have done for work makes me miserable. So turning my art into a business that I relied on just didn't work. It also doesn't work because I'm neurodivergent, and so I can't communicate with people, and customer service scares me and commissions scare me. I don't call myself an influencer. I wouldn't even say I'm a content creator. Everybody today creates content. I would say that the person that you can piece together from what I do share nowadays still isn't an accurate representation of who I am. I haven't spoken really at all about the migraine cluster headache situation. Whatever it is, the attacks that I have is bad. It's consuming so much of my life. It's the worst it's ever been. It impacts my mental health, it makes me sad. The frustration, the isolation, not shame, but the fear of being as open as I wish I could be about it. If we take that out of the equation, things aren't too bad. Another thing that I'm grateful for is this feeling currently that there is nothing that I need. And when I say that, I mean stuff that I can actually buy. Like, you can't buy love. Physical stuff that I need to live in life, I have. I have an indoor bike, I have a dining room table, I have 2 sofas, I have all the kitchen equipment I need, I have a computer, I have art stuff, I have cutlery, bowls, duvet covers. And there's been points in my life where I've not been able to say that. Things are going to break, things will need replacing, but in this moment, in my life, I have everything. It's a humbling position to be in, because I know that's not the same for a lot of people out there. Again, it's not perfect, like some of the stuff I have definitely needs replacing, but it's still functioning. It does feel reassuring to be in the position I'm currently in. Is this what it's like to be in your 30s? I don't know how I come across sometimes, and because I am unwell so frequently, it's hard for me to showcase the good in my life, but also showcase my gratitude. Or because so much of my life is offline and I experience it with other people. Or, especially in the online world, people haven't seen or appreciated how bad things have been, or how much I've hidden, how much I've struggled. They can't appreciate how good things are now. So I was trying to talk to my parents about this last week, the frustration that I think everyone around me outside of the family was assuming that I was doing certain things this time 10 years ago that I've only started to do in the last 2 years. Some really basic stuff that I still can't verbalise. I feel like I've come on so far, but away from the cameras, and no amount of me showcasing or talking about it will illustrate that. I shouldn't have to even feel like I have to prove it to people, I just need to experience it myself. My whole family are aware, and like my sister and brother are astounded by my progress. Gosh, it sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but it's true. Regardless of what other people think, I've definitely come on a long way. Moving forwards though, rounding this off, the sun is setting. The sun is not over there, the sun is over there. One day I would like to live somewhere where I can actually see the sun set and rise. There's certain things that I would like. I'd like to live somewhere where I am not freezing in my home all year round. I would like to do more art, and I'm not talking about selling and generating an income. I mean just painting for myself, creating for myself like this. That's me. It's unfinished, but that's me. I want to continue paying off as much of my mortgage as possible. I would like to have a holiday, but my health does impact the ability to do everything I love, let alone actually travel. But I do want to travel. I want to continue taking over my life. Some would say taking back control, but what people don't understand is I've probably never had control in the first place. And if that control hadn't have been in the hands of other people, then I probably wouldn't be here right now. So it's complicated, but I want to keep growing and taking things on. I want to understand both the masked and unmasked versions of myself. I want to be in a position where I'm not masking all the time. I think as this video's gone on, the unmasking has gotten better. I'm not even looking at the camera right now, I'm looking everywhere else, and this is what I do, and I speed talk and I fluctuate with topics and I can't concentrate. My eyes jitter.
The fact that my thoughts race really, really fast and I can't concentrate, and I find it difficult to form chronological stuff.
One thing I haven't done that I normally do is fidget, because in editing my future self will Even this chair has been squeaking. That's been annoying. I also haven't been tying my hair up and down because I haven't had a bobble on my hand because I took it off. This is probably more a normal version of myself, just playing with my hair, glasses on and off, getting distracted by everything, accent slipping, you know, dropping the T's, the Essexness coming through. I think we can safely say that I'm a mess and have been for a long time. I'm just more aware of the mess of a human that I am now than I think I've ever been. And I'm actually feeling more like a human nowadays than I used to. I may not be well as often as I would like to be, and I definitely am masking when I probably shouldn't be, but there are moments where I do feel forms of happiness, and I can say that I am feeling more like a human than I have in the entirety of my adult life. So that's something to celebrate. I need to reclaim back my younger self. The hyperactive, all over the place, creative, sparkly mess. I have no idea how this vlog comes across. It has been years since I've sat down like this and tried to talk and been the way I currently am. In this vlog, there's likely stuff that I have not finished my thoughts of. I have subject jumped. There's things I've said that I probably could say in better ways. That's something I always stress about, how I've said something. My younger self would repeat myself continuously till it sounded correct.
Today is the 10th of November, today is the 10th of December 2011.
Or script. There's been no scripting today. It's just like a thought bubble of thoughts. Maybe some explanations too. Thank you if you have watched this the whole way through. Hi. Hello to my older self who is watching this. I'm now gonna go and eventually we'll get round to editing this. Good luck, Rebecca, in editing. Goodbye.